This video series covers general safety guidelines for working in the performing arts facilities at Cal State LA, including all work in the theatrical shops, as well as for directors, designers, performers, and technicians when participating in rehearsals, performances, and during class activities. Part 3. Housekeeping Procedures. Every work call, crew call, class period, concert, rehearsal, or performance should include a mandatory cleanup period toward the end of the shift. The last 15 to 20 minutes of that class period or work shift should be spent cleaning work areas and putting away materials, tools, equipment, and supplies. Put away any tools and supplies that were used. Keep the tool storage room, hardware shelves, supply cabinets, and other work areas tidy and organized. Throw away lumber scraps. Chop up long wood scraps so that they fit in the shop trash cans. Do the same for odd-shaped pieces of lumber that are not worth saving. Put away larger lumber pieces. Only full-sized sheets of lumber go in the sheet goods storage rack. Similarly, only full lengths of solid lumber go in the wall rack. Sweep up the shop floor, including moving tools and machinery to clean underneath. Collect sawdust and deposit it into a trash can with a liner. Can liners are located in the paint shop. Do not place wood scraps that may puncture the liner into the trash can with the sawdust. Vacuum around tools and machinery. Keep the work areas clean and tidy. Put small metal scraps into the metal recycling bin. Take larger metal scraps to the basement steel storage racks. Take trash cans to the dumpster. Get in the habit of dumping the trash cans at the end of every workday. Don't leave it for the next crew. Be responsible and take your trash out rather than leaving it for someone else or passing it on to another shop or work area. If you are working a show on stage, don't place your trash in the scene shop cans at the end of the performance. Take it directly to the dumpster. Wash your paint tools and hang them to dry. Close or seal paint cans. Put away paint cans when you are finished with them. Once tools and buckets and roller trays are dry, put them away. Sweep the workspace at the end of the work call. Even the scene shop should have the floor mopped regularly. Sweep and mop the stage after crew calls and events. Sweeping and mopping regularly at the end of the work call or rehearsal will keep the stage clean and ready for use by the next crew. Walking into a clean and organized workshop or stage space also improves crew morale. Cleaning up and returning supplies, tools, and equipment takes longer than you expect, especially if the crew have been working all day. Between sweeping floors, dusting off counters, cleaning tools and equipment, putting away hand tools and supplies, picking up trash, and taking trash to the dumpster, cleanup will almost always take upwards of 15 to 20 minutes. Be proactive about cleaning up. Leaving a clean work area makes the next crew more productive. If they walk into a dirty shop or stage, a work site in disarray, or they have to hunt down tools and supplies, then productivity will be reduced along with crew morale. Even better than saving your cleanup until the end of the day, clean the work areas as you work. It's not worth it to try to get more things done before the end of the day if you are just going to leave a mess for someone else. Don't leave messes expecting the next crew can clean up for you or take out your trash. Definitely don't assume that another crew is coming in to work after you. Always put away the tools and supplies you have been using and put them away immediately after you are finished with them. Always clean up after yourself. Always keep the workspace clean and organized. Always put your tools and supplies away every day. Take the trash to the dumpster daily. These are your daily responsibilities. If you can't find anything to clean up or put away, you can always sweep off or clean off counters and work tables. Vacuum dust out of tools and empty dust collector bags and the shop vac. Sort hardware and organize other supplies. The drywall screw bins always have the wrong size screws dumped into them. Sort them out properly. If you find the wrong hardware in a storage bin, return it to where it belongs. If the supplies in a cabinet are a mess, clean them and organize them. Take trash to the dumpster. Sweep the scene shop floor or the costume shop floor. Sweep and mop the stage. The stage always needs another sweeping and mopping. Paint shop cleanup will bottleneck at the end of the class or the workday. With only one sink in the paint room, only one person can be washing brushes and tools at a time. If you wait until the end of the class to clean your paint tools, you will likely have to stay after class until it is your turn at the sink to clean them. The better option is to clean your paint tools as you go during class or throughout the workday. Each brush or roller can take 3 to 6 minutes to clean properly. Buckets and roller trays with dried paint can take several minutes to clean. Make sure you leave enough time to get the tools clean and free of all paint and paint residue. Cleaning paintbrushes properly will extend their life and also help them perform better while doing scene painting. Do not leave paintbrushes or rollers soaking in the sink or a bucket of water. Clean them out before you leave. Shake all the water out of the brushes after they are clean. Hang them to drip dry. Hang them on the hooks with the same size paintbrush as indicated by the labels above the hooks. Separate roller heads from roller frames after every use. Wash them both thoroughly and hang them each to dry in their designated locations. If you leave the roller heads on the frames, the paint residue will glue them to the frames, making later removal impossible. Place clean buckets, roller trays, and other tools on the drying area next to the sink. Do not stack wet buckets together. Keep them separate so that they can air dry. Put away the dry items at the start of the next work call. Wash out any cloth rags and hang them to dry. Do not leave them soaking in buckets. Do not leave them wadded up in balls. Do not allow them to dry with paint or glue residue. Rinse them out so that they can be reused again. Everyone is responsible for keeping their work areas, tools, safety equipment, and other work materials neat and organized and properly maintained and stored. Even if you only use a tool or machine briefly, you should clean it and tidy it at the work area when you are done with it. The counters and outfeed tables need to be kept clean and accessible. Keep them free of debris, sawdust, and scrap lumber or materials. The table saw outfeed table is not a project assembly area. Neither is the radial arm saw or miter saw counter. Keep both clear of off-cut lumber and avoid starting your project in that area. Projects, tools, and scraps of lumber make it impossible for another user to use the machinery. Put your tools away when you are finished using them. If someone else has left tools out, put those away too. Don't assume that someone is coming in to use it or that someone will be in after you to use your tools. Everyone will be able to find the tools they need if they are returned to storage after every use and if those storage areas are kept tidy and organized. Clean up after yourself, but also clean up after each other so that the shops are left clean and orderly after every class or work session. Communal work areas will accumulate messes that can't always be attributed to a single user's work area. Expand your cleanup to care for the communal work areas as well. Store scenery on carts with wheels. Use scenery carts, small carts, or piano dollies for storing scenery and supplies. Avoid stacking loose scenery pieces in the shop, between workbenches, or in the paint frame area. Keep the shop as open and available as possible throughout the show build. Use carts, dollies, and wheeled transport to your advantage for ready mobility. Doing so will make the workspace more flexible and efficient for everyone. Keep all aisles, exits, and safety equipment such as fire extinguishers clear of debris, electrical cords, hoses, equipment, scenery, props, costumes, etc. Keep all electrical panels and fixed ladder landings clear for 30 inches in all directions. Emergency exits need to be clear and accessible at all times. You should never block them with equipment or gear or have hoses or cords as tripping hazards running across exits or egress, not even for a temporary or short period of time. Being aware of safety exits and egress means you are paying more attention to the larger work environment. Fire extinguishers, first aid kits, eye wash stations, and other safety equipment should always be accessible. Do not block with equipment or scenery. Electrical panels will usually have a keep clear zone marked around them. Always keep that area clear. When in doubt, always leave at least 30 inches in all directions clear around any electrical panel or switch box. Fixed ladders also need to be kept clear at their base and at their upper landing. Several areas on stage will have large areas painted in safety yellow. These are also high egress and traffic areas and should be kept clear at all times, even during performances. This includes the fly rail area, where fly rail operators need clear access to the line sets at all times. Do not store scenery, props, costumes, furniture, or other event support equipment in the keep clear area in front of the fly rail. Clean up spilled liquids and waste debris immediately to prevent slips and falls. In the scene shop and on stage, sweep up sawdust and wood debris regularly. Sawdust and wood debris are a significant slip and trip hazard. For finer dust particles, such as when trimming masonite or Celotex, use the shop vac to extract the dust and be sure to wear PPE. Clean up paint or other liquid spills and drips immediately. Paint spills can be mopped with a paintbrush and returned to the paint can if not contaminated. Other liquid spills should be contained as per the safe handling guidelines in the safety data sheet. Use the wet floor signage to prevent slips and falls from spill cleanup, from freshly mopped stages and floors, or from freshly painted stage floors. Wet floor signs are located near the mop buckets, and fresh paint signs are located in the paint room. Clean up fabric scraps and waste regularly in the costume shop. Pick up pins and needles and other sharps from the floor. If you work outside on the loading dock, clean up all of your waste, especially nails and screws that could puncture tires of delivery vehicles. Sweep up any sawdust or other debris. Take the time to return things to where they belong when you are finished using them. Put tools and equipment away regularly throughout the workday, especially when you are finished using them. Don't assume that someone else will be coming in to use them after you. Put away any equipment and supplies that are on carts. Don't just push carts of tools into the tool room and leave a mess on the cart. Take the time to put the tools and the hardware away. This also makes the cart available for the next user. Do the same thing for paint carts, carts of lighting gear, carts of audio gear, and carts of props or other items. Return everything to its location at the end of the day so the carts are available for other uses. Return ladders to their storage locations after each use. Don't leave them backstage, in the audience or auditorium, or in remote locations in other buildings. Secure the ladders on their hooks or in their storage locations with rope, bungees, or chain. Coil and store all hoses and cables at the end of your work session. Learn how to properly coil cable. Different cables such as audio XLR cable and delicate wireless mic cables require different coiling practices than stage lighting power cable. Ropes and pneumatic hoses may also require different techniques. Return wood shop and metal shop machinery to normal positions when you are finished, such as resetting the blade tilt on the table saw to 0 degrees after you have finished making your bevel cuts. Tools should be ready to go for their most frequent operations. Remove special attachments and jigs. Return normal sewing feet on sewing machines. Overhead storage. Do not place heavy objects on top shelves or in overhead storage unless they are securely fastened and protected from falling. All stored items should be done so with consideration to ready access and to earthquake safety, with measures in place to prevent items from falling off shelves. Shelving units should be bolted to prevent them from tipping over in an earthquake. Generally speaking, anything over 6 feet 0 inches needs to be secured from falling during an earthquake. Overhead storage can be secured with ropes, straps, bungee cords, or items can be secured with netting or other methods to prevent them from falling. Closets should remain accessible and not have access or storage cabinets blocked. Egress in and out of storage rooms should be clear, and all shelving units or cabinets should be readily accessible. All overhead lighting fixtures need to have safety cables securing them to the batten or the lighting position, and the safety cable needs to be attached in such a way that it cannot easily slip off. Other equipment mounted overhead should be similarly secured with safety cables. Avoid placing heavy items on upper storage. Heavy items are more likely to shift during an earthquake jolt. Heavier items falling onto persons below are also more likely to cause physical injury. Do not block egress or emergency exits. Always keep aisles, walkways, hallways, and emergency exits clear. Clean up sawdust promptly and frequently. Sawdust should be swept up in the scene shop several times throughout the day. Please don't save it for the end of the day. Loose sawdust should only be placed inside a trash can with a heavy-duty black plastic liner. This will contain the dust when tied and placed in the dumpster. Please don't put wood scraps into the trash cans with the black plastic liners. They will pierce the plastic and cause the sawdust to leak out, rendering containment of the sawdust useless. When taking bagged trash to the dumpster, tie the black can liner closed. Then remove the entire bag and deposit the closed bag into the dumpster. Do not just dump the sawdust into the dumpster and return the can with the now dirty liner back to the shop. The sawdust should be contained by the bag for the remainder of its life as it travels toward landfill. This follows guidelines by the South Coast Air Quality Management District to minimize airborne dusts and contaminants in construction and work sites. Clean up your work area after you are finished, and ideally throughout the day as you are working. Prepare it for your next project or for the next user by cleaning sawdust off the tool, the table, and by sweeping under and around the work table or workbench. Clean up your wood scraps frequently, often several times throughout the day or on a single project. Wood scraps are a tripping hazard for yourself and for others working in the shop. Dust collection. When you are using scene shop machinery, always use dust collectors, even for small or short operations. Every use or operation requires the dust collectors to be running. Dust collectors are installed on major wood shop equipment such as miter saws, radial arm saws, table saws, panel saws, band saws, and wood sanding machines. Use them to protect the health of all workers in the shop and to reduce sawdust buildup around the machines. Blast gates are located at several machines to direct dust collection to the machines that are in use. Please check and open blast gates for your tools when you are using them. Empty dust collection bags regularly. Transfer the sawdust to a trash can with a plastic liner. Tie and secure the liner before depositing it into the dumpster. Vacuum and clean sawdust and debris buildup from around the machine. Clean out the debris under the radial arm saw. Open the table saw cabinet and vacuum sawdust out of the inside regularly.